everyone, welcome to Ride with Attitude. Today is our first. I'm going to be introducing my bike for this episode. I have a 2004 Sportster Harley Davidson 883 XL. Pretty nice bike. As a start, I'm gonna give you a small background about the Sportsters. Sportster were actually a line of motorcycles produced by Harley Davidson starting from 1957. Sportster models were designed by Harley and coded by XL. I mean, they started that coding wording by the two-letter XL. They were actually made for more sportisty stuff, for those people who didn't really like to ride the big bikes. It's been a solo seat since it was in production, and still until now, I believe even the newest model for Sportster, it's a single seater. My bike as well was a single seater. I just added or changed, replaced the seat to a drag seat which have a passenger seat, and I installed two bigs so I can take a passenger with me. As I said, they started in 1957, and they featured many of the same details of KH, including the frame, fender, large gas tank, and front suspension. Now there is two very common Sportsters, the 883 and the 1200. Actually, people can upgrade from 883 to 1200 by changing the piston size. It's a two pistons engine. It's pretty easy process. It's just once you do it, you can't go back unless you change the whole engine. So I don't see why I would change it to 1200. I believe that 883 is more than enough for me. The bike weighs about 450 pounds, which is not very heavy. It's pretty decent. I mean, for my size, I'm 5'10", weight about 179. This bike fits me perfect. As I use this bike now for about 2 years, I kind of don't like the clutch so much. I mean, the wire clutch, because sometimes it goes very hard. It's tough. But once you get used to it, it's done. There's nothing else with this bike that's wrong. Bike is very low maintenance. It's a beautiful bike, beautiful handling. As you see, I started the first episode with you guys during the night, because that's when I go to my work, and it's pretty dark outside in New York. It's pretty cool as well. Sometimes it gets very chilly, and that's why I'll be wearing the whole gear even in the summertime. So pardon me for that. Other thing that I do on the bike, I do everything. I actually change the oil myself, replace the filters, tension the belts, adjust everything, pretty much everything. It's pretty easy to do. Harley is very common, and they have a lot of forums that can help you do stuff to your Harley. I don't like modifying my motorcycle, and I will not be modifying my motorcycle. I will not do that crazy handlebars and crazy low seat. I will not do those. I respect whoever like to do it. It's a personal reference, but I prefer to keep my bike as a standard. Also, I would like to tell you guys that it's not my first motorcycle. My first motorcycle was actually a Ninja 250, and I know it's a big difference between semi-sports bike to a Sportster, which is a cruiser. But even in between, I had another bike that was a Yamaha V-Max. So I started with the Ninja, a Kawasaki Ninja 250. It was a 2011, and it was a pretty decent bike. It's not strong, so I mean it's kind of slow. It's very light bike. It's not very stable on the highway, and that's why I moved to another bike. And when I was doing my research, I figured out, okay, I'm gonna go with something big now. So I jumped to the Yamaha V-Max. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Those were not my first motorcycle. I have a lot of motorcycles before, but I mean, in here in the United States, those were my first motorcycles. Yamaha VMAX was 1997. It was pretty good bike. It's very strong, so it's 1200 cc's, but that's not the case. That's not the issue. The issue was it have a V boost. V boost means there were side covers inside those side covers. They were functioning on my bike, and once you hit 6,000 RPMs, those two gates opens up and lets a great amount of air inside, and that airflow will drive the bike nuts. It will just fly. There is no other bike or car can stand this bike in a straight way. The bad thing about this bike, it was very hard to maintain because it's complicated. I mean, it was 4 cylinders. That's not the bad part. The bad part was how the clutch works and how the maintenance should be done, which I wasn't really familiar with. Other bad thing about the bike was its weight. It's very heavy. It's very hard to maneuver, especially on low speed or in the city. However, if you are on the highway, it's the best bike to handle ever. The bike was so strong, it was so quick, and I can't believe it. After that, I sold the Yamaha. I actually, unfortunately, I dropped the VMAX like a couple times. Fortunately, so I wasn't really harmed. There was a couple scratches, but because I was going on very low speeds, and it mainly dropped because of slipping. It was a slippery road. One time it was standing and I couldn't really hold my weight on it, and so the asphalt was kind of like frozen with oily stuff on it, and that's why my feet start slipping, and I couldn't get the bike. I mean, I saved myself, but I let the bike down. Anyway, it's long gone now. I remember that when I bought the VMAX, I bought it from Buffalo, New York, and I rode it back all the way to Queens, New York, which was about 450 miles. It was a fun ride. I sold the VMAX and then I went looking for Harley straight away. I like Harley long time ago, and I really wanted to have one. So I took my time, I made my research, and I found this beautiful burgundy 2004 Harley 883 XL somewhere in Maryland. At that time, this bike had 4,500 miles on it, which were nothing. The bike was in beautiful condition. I mean, it's still in beautiful condition. Why are you saying yes? It is in beautiful condition. The chrome looks beautiful. The wheels looks beautiful. It's a standard bike. There's nothing that was modified on it. It has the standard pipes, standard rims, everything like that. And so I bought it. It was too cold to ride, so I bought it in a truck, brought it back home, and here you go. I'm making my first episode on it. I'm so glad I'm able to share this information with you guys, this experience that I'm going through, and I would love to hear from you about your comments, your recommendations. If you have any question, don't hesitate to put it in the comments below or hit me up. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe, enjoy it. There will be more stuff coming, more fun stuff coming, so keep an eye on us. For now, I'm out. Peace.